Good Tuesday evening, Tallahassee. I'm student meteorologist Evan O'Regan, and here is your Tuesday edition of FSU Weather. Our top stories feature really warm temperatures throughout much of the country. You can see there in that purple shading there, we have temperatures that are 30, even 40 degrees above our average for this time of the year. So extremely warm temperatures for much of the country. If I can get my clicker to work. There we go. We have an atmospheric river developing up in the Pacific Northwest, a place like Seattle seeing a lot of rainfall there. And we had the end of the Atlantic hurricane season this year. It was a very active season this year. And looking at our top stories tonight, we have warmer temperatures throughout the end of the week, an atmospheric river shaping up in the Pacific Northwest, and we're going to recap the hurricane season in 2021. All that more on FSU Weather.
Thanks, Evan, for the introduction to tonight's show and on FSU Weather. As we do the overview tonight on FSU Weather, we will see a very beautiful sky currently over Doak Campbell Stadium. You can see 57 degrees under mostly clear skies. We did have a beautiful sunset like 15 minutes ago behind the stadium, and it was great. But, of course, now the sun has set now, and we are looking at cooler conditions now as we make our way into the nighttime. Our current conditions across the Big Bend region, you can see 50s across really Tallahassee, up into Georgia. We see 52 is the cool spot in Thomasville. And then down towards the coast, you can see 53 Apalachicola, and where there's more moisture in the air. Our local radar shows very quiet conditions right now across the area. We did see a little sprinkle up there towards southeast Georgia, but really probably nothing reaching the ground at all. Tonight's forecast, you can see 30s across the area, 37 in Tallahassee, so you will need your rain jacket, or your jacket tonight, as we will be very cold, especially tomorrow morning in those 30s. But of course, with any wind chill, might feel even cooler than that. Tomorrow's forecast, you can see low 70s across much of the area, might be in the upper 60s down towards the coast, or a little bit cooler down there. And tonight on FSU Weather, we'll have a warm temperatures dominating the U.S. Temperature rebound for Tallahassee in the last day of hurricane season in 2021. But really, it was very quiet across much of hurricane season this season. And that was mostly due to dry conditions and early start to the wintertime. But as we get into the rest of the season, it'll be very quiet. And now back to the desk.
That's right. Thank you for that, Aaron. And as Aaron said, around Tallahassee right now, it is pretty chilly. Tonight's going to be in the 30s, but most of the country will be seeing those above average temperatures, as I said before, up to 30, even 40 degrees warmer than we should be for late November, early December. So even though we're transitioning into meteorological winter tomorrow, we will see temperatures that are feeling more late spring, early summer-like for much of the country. So those summer lovers out there will get a chance to maybe even take a dip in the pool if you want. So to cool off from those temperatures, places like, say, in Arizona could be reaching into the middle and upper 80s, believe it or not, potentially setting some record high temperatures for that area of the country. So as we take a look at the bigger picture here, you can see those temperatures are extremely warm, especially for places in Texas in the low 70s right now. But we are going to see those temperatures continue to rise as we go throughout the week. Especially, you can see those temperatures, those warmer temperatures extending up through the northern plain states, even Billings, Montana, reaching into almost the 50s there. So again, very warm temperatures for this time of the year. And there again are those temperatures compared to average, extremely warm for the northern tier of the country. Again, 30, maybe even 40 degrees warmer than we should be for this time of the year. So again, you might want to take a dip in the pool, kind of just take a nice, cool, relaxing, maybe even turn on the AC for parts of this area as well. So again, we're kind of those really warmer temperatures. And around here at Tallahassee, you can see that drier air behind me there escaping off the coast in those brownish colors there. That's that really dry air that's been keeping temperatures so comfortable around here. But that'll start to change with that moisture starting to move its way towards the Tallahassee and Big Bend region by the time we get to this time tomorrow. And that'll start to bring in that warmer air as warmer temperatures do hold warmer temperatures hold more water vapor. Atmospheric physics class there for you. And the next 48 hours around here, you can see that warm air start to progress its way towards the east. You can see that little orange shading right there starting to move its way towards the east. And eventually, by the time we get to this time on Thursday, we'll be at 65 in Tallahassee, really warm down the coast at Miami at 76. So again, those warmer temperatures will start to move their way across the country here. As for tomorrow's highs, again, very warm. Tallahassee at 72, so about average there. But we do have, again, 76 and 74 in San Antonio and Dallas-Fort Worth, respectively. So again, that warmer air is really dominating the country as we go throughout time here. Even warmer on Thursday in Dallas, 78 on the thermometer there. So again, really balmy there. 81 down the coast at Miami. So really, really nice temperatures there. Really summer-like. Again on Friday, 76 there in Fort Worth, 70 in New Orleans, 75 here in Tallahassee. As for the week ahead, you can see in Tallahassee, we will get really chilly tonight down at 36, but as we go throughout time here, temperatures will moderate into the middle and potentially upper 70s by the time we get to the weekend.
That's right, Evan. And as we bring things closer to home, I should say, conditions will be very beautiful really across tonight into tomorrow in Tallahassee. You can see currently over Campbell Stadium, we are currently sitting at 57 degrees under mostly clear skies. See the sky behind me, you can see very beautiful sunset. You see those pinks, or those last pinks I should say, and those blues as the sun goes down. You can see our temperature almanacs for today. We were actually pretty cool this morning. You see we were actually below freezing. 30 degrees was our low temperature in Tallahassee today. We were actually under a freeze warning with some widespread freeze across the area. But today it did warm up into the upper 60s, which is actually pretty average compared to what we should be this time of year. And of course, we are nowhere near that record low of 22 set back in 1979. Hour by hour this morning, you can see we did warm up pretty nicely. You see we were started up below freezing. We did get up into the 60s by about the afternoon, and we did top off into the upper 60s as we got into the mid to latter part of the afternoon. Our current local temperatures right now across the area, you can see 60s pretty much across Florida. We do get into the 50s as we get into southwest Georgia, away from the water, but closer to the water, you can see we are also sitting in the 50s, but of course, Tallahassee being with the heat island effect, we are also sitting in the low 60s. Our current dew points are dry, bone dry in fact. You can see 30s and 40s region-wide. Really, it just means that there's not a lot of moisture in the atmosphere, and it just feels really it feels like the temperature it says it is. Our local radar, you can see it's very quiet right now. You can see there are a few sprinkles down towards the southeastern part of our region. Those will not be impacting the Tallahassee metro area anytime soon. Our future radar shows quiet conditions really progressing throughout much of the overnight and into tomorrow. You can see we are seeing maybe a few clouds go by, but overall it should be a pretty clear day tomorrow, with highs again getting into the 70s. In tonight's forecast, you can see another chilly night into the 30s. We won't get into below freezing like we did this morning, but you will need that jacket as you head out the door tomorrow morning. Tomorrow's forecast will warm pretty nicely into the low 70s, which is very beautiful for this time of year, especially with that lower humidity. It certainly will feel like 72 degrees across the area. And if you're walking your dog, you can see that's my dog there, Blanca, right there. Conditions will be very beautiful tomorrow. You can see a nice warm up into the 70s as we get to 3 o'clock. And as you look into the week ahead, you can see that really we'll have a warm up starting off in the 70s and 30s, but we will warm up into the upper 70s as we get into Saturday and Sunday. And really those overnight temperatures will get into the 40s and 50s as we wrap up the rest of the week.
That's right. Even though those temperatures are a little bit chilly right now, things are definitely going to change as that warm air starts to move its way into the Tallahassee area. So maybe feeling more like spring and summer around here. So looking forward to that. As we look around at our cameras around Florida right now, look at that sunset right now in Panama City Beach. Boy, I wish I was there. Look at those really bright pinks and oranges and yellows, so really pretty there. Gainesville sitting at 54 degrees right now behind me there, and Miami sitting at a balmy 71 down the coast there. Look at our temperatures around the Florida Peninsula. Excuse me. We have 69 down there at Key West, 62 at Tampa, 66 at Orlando. So these temperatures are actually may seem a little warm, but they're actually very comfortable because of this dry air that we have in place for the time being along the Florida Peninsula. You can see those browns and blacks there. That's that really dry air out ahead of this moisture that's moving in from the west, accompanying with that warm air. Around the Florida Peninsula, though, not a lot on that radar right now, so that's really good to see. You won't need that rain jacket anytime soon, so that's also good news. As for the next 48 hours, not really much in the way of rain showers. There might be some across the southern portion of our state, maybe towards West Palm Beach and also Miami, but really just not a whole lot on that radar right now and for the foreseeable future, but you might need those rain jackets out for a light sprinkle as you work your way toward the southern part of the state. As for Miami, the next 3 days, generally sitting in the upper 70s and low 80s, so really nice there. Nice day to go cool off, maybe in the ocean if you have the time. Another pool day out there for you as those summer temperatures make their way back for the next 3 days. Working our way up north towards Tampa, generally sitting in the upper 70s, lots of sunshine, maybe a little bit more clouds as we work our way towards the Friday. So again, really nice weather there as well. And working our way up towards Orlando, very similar to Tampa, generally sitting in the upper 70s, maybe a little more clouds and sunshine on Friday, but really nice and comfy out there. Same thing as we work our way towards Jacksonville, a little bit cooler, generally sitting in the low to mid 70s. Again, nice mixture of clouds and sunshine out there for the next 3 days, so really nice and comfy. So make sure you guys get outside. Same thing over in Pensacola, generally sitting in the low to mid 70s. So again, maybe a little more clouds and sunshine on Friday, but again, really nice weather out there. Make sure you guys get outside, do those outdoor activities that you really want to do this time of year, so it's really nice and comfy out there. As we look over for tonight, generally sitting in the 50s in the central part of the state, 60s as we work our way down towards the southern portion of our state, and also in the 40s, and also that should be in the 30s in Tallahassee for tonight. So a little bit chilly as we work our way towards the north. But tomorrow, generally sitting in the upper 70s and maybe even low 80s as we work our way down the coast, but very comfortable conditions as we work our way towards the north. And now, I'm going to hand things over to Aaron for the national.
As we zoom out to our national forecast, you can see we have a lot of features on the map tonight. You can see we do have a pair of cold fronts right now across the central U.S. And of course, those will be making its way over to the east. And then, of course, we do have that, you see that blue triangle up there in the Pacific Northwest. We do have another cold front coming in. That is associated with an atmospheric river coming in that area and bringing a lot of rain to places like Portland and Vancouver across the North Pacific Northwest. Big picture tonight, you can see currently temperatures are really sitting mildly right now across the Central Plains. You can see 70s across Dallas-Fort Worth, up into the 50s as we get to Kansas City. The cooler air right now is up towards the Great Lakes and pushing into New England as part of one of those cold fronts moving down the area. But of course, we are sitting pretty cool as well relatively to our area in the low 60s as well in Tallahassee. Out west, you can see we do see pretty comfortable conditions. You can see 65 in San Francisco, Los Angeles, a little bit of shower activity and some cloud cover in that direction. And of course, up in Seattle, we are sitting in the 50s with that river. In upper level water vapor, you can see a lot of the moisture across the west associated with that atmospheric river. You can see that actually that curve over much of the west. And this, of course, this moisture is actually going to help enhance some of that development with some of that moisture later on in the week in the eastern parts of the U.S. But right now we are sitting much red conditions across much of the western U.S. And across the east, you can see those departing cold fronts. Right now, you can actually see one of the cold fronts right here over the Tennessee River Valley, and then another one up towards the Great Lakes. And of course, the one that we had last week here that is pushing its way over into the Atlantic Ocean. Our dew points across the nation, you see we are beginning to raise those dew points across the extreme southern central parts of the U.S. You can see Texas, San Antonio is currently at 46, but you can see the green right here starting to move its way up. And then will gradually move its way up, and then, of course, over to the east ahead of the next cold front later this week. And then you see Tallahassee, we are sitting in the low 30s for our dew points. And, of course, out west, you can see we have a mix between the mountains and all that. You can see those 30s, some lower like in Denver, 16. And then, of course, Seattle at 48 degrees for our dew point. Our temperatures compared to average, you can actually see a bullseye up here as we make our way to the upper plains. You can see almost close to 40 degrees above average compared to normal across places like South Dakota, Nebraska, and Kansas, where they're sitting pretty warm for this time of year, at least what they should be. And then, of course, across the southeast, you can see we are sitting fairly warmer than average, especially across places like Atlanta, Alabama, Mississippi, in that area as well. Our drought monitor, you can see really we're continuing with that extreme drought across the west. Not a lot of rain in that area, and it's just droughts keep on persisting across the area. And then, of course, we actually are seeing a little bit of drought situation over towards North Carolina and South Carolina, where they actually have a ban on fires in that area. You can see across the Pacific Northwest, rain across the area. You can see Seattle, really some sprinkles associated with the atmospheric river coming through. And here is the future radar. You can see persistent rain across places like Seattle and then into British Columbia, where they'll continue to see some more and more rain showers, more and more rain, as we see the cold fronts coming in to that region as well. Our rainfall forecast, you can see we might potentially have up to about an inch and a half or so, and of course isolated pockets may even get all the way as much as 10 inches, especially in some of those mountain peaks facing the water over there. In our Midwest radar, you can see we see that cold front that's moving into the area right now. You can see Bismarck, there is some rain, and of course some snow as it makes its way over closer to the Canadian border, over to that region. You can see over towards New York, you can see there is some lake effect snow happening in the upper parts, or upstate New York, I should say, in that direction. Future radar shows that a cold front is starting to dive down, make its way over to the east. It will transition into some snow as it's also making its way towards the east and start to pivot away as it moves away off into the the Canadian Maritimes in that area. The Gulf Coast, you can see it's fairly quiet right now, but of course that should remain the same conditions as we get into the rest of the week. And you can see in the next 60 hours, you can see the cold front's actually starting to make its way down into the Midwest, bringing some cooler temperatures for folks up there. Tonight's lows, you'll see 40s and 50s across much of the area, except for a little wedge of warmer air across the extreme central southern part of the Central Plains. Tomorrow's highs, you will see 60s and 70s across much of the eastern part of the U.S., except if you are in the New England area, and then up into the West Coast, 70s and 60s as well.
That's right. And looking at our weekly planner, I'll take you guys through what you expect throughout the week across the nation going forward in time here. Looking forward to tomorrow's high temperatures. You can see those really extremely warm temperatures for this time of the year for the first day of December. Really balmy conditions, 70 degrees up there in Denver, 62 up there in Billings, 64 in Bismarck. So again, those really late spring, early summer temperatures that you guys see typically in June will be making their reappearance over the next few days. Again, same thing in Billings, 64 degrees, 71 in Denver, 72 there in Kansas City. So again, really warm summer-like conditions for December, so it's really something you guys don't see that often, but make sure you guys get out there and enjoy it before that cold air starts to make its entrance from the north. 43 there, so really dropping by the time we get to Friday for the extreme northern tier of the country, but still very warm down there in Texas. Dallas, Fort Worth sitting at 76 by the time we get to Friday. As for Saturday, again, that cold air starts to work its way a little bit more towards the east, 35 in Minneapolis on Saturday, but again, still sitting very warm, 73 there in Dallas, 76 in San Antonio. So again, summer-like conditions continue to persist across the heartland of the country into this weekend as well. Getting warmer still for the southeast by the time we get to Sunday, 73 at New Orleans for Sunday, 76 in Tallahassee on Sunday. And we'll watch the progression of this warm air on our temperatures compared to average map. As you can see there, 30 to 40 degrees above average for places like the Dakotas and also Nebraska for tomorrow. If I can get my clicker to go forward here. I cannot. But we're going to see those temperatures start to, there we go, Wednesday, start to move further towards the east as we go forward in time. I don't know why this isn't working. But we're still going to see those temperatures continue to rise as we go throughout the week here. So again, make sure you guys get out there and enjoy those summer-like conditions as we go forward in time here. And I'll just fast forward here. And we have another look at our local forecast, a little closer to home. So we'll get a look at that in a second here. There is our live shot at Doak Campbell Stadium, currently sitting at 57 degrees, mostly clear with that calm wind. Really pretty outside. There was a pretty sunset before the show. I wish you guys could have seen it. We watched it on our cameras here live, but it was really pretty out there. So, and again, very comfortable at this time of the year with those nice, comfortable dew points. Temperature Almanac, very close to our average high of 69 today. But we did this morning get a low of 30 degrees, so it was quite chilly out there. You need to break out that big, fluffy winter jacket of yours. But we did come maybe a little close to that record low of 22, but thankfully we did not reach that today. So definitely good news there. Current local temperatures generally sitting in the 50s, a little bit warmer at Tallahassee at 61 with that urban heat island effect that Aaron mentioned earlier. And we do have 58 there in Crawfordsville. So maybe that marine influence helping just a bit there to keep them on the warmer side. But we do have those very dry dew points, 35 in Tallahassee. But you can see the leading edge of some of that more moist air sitting off towards our southwest. Sumatra sitting right now at 42 degrees on their dew point. So that'll start to work its way towards the east as we go forward in time here. Not much on the local radar, maybe a sprinkle, maybe some ground interference just south of Cross City there towards the south. So again, not really much rain expected for the next foreseeable future, so that'll be definitely good news there. You won't have to break out your rain jacket anytime soon. There may be some clouds tonight, overhead tonight as we work our way into tomorrow as well, but most of that stays to the north, and none of those will be rain-bearing clouds. So that is definitely good news. You won't have to break out your rain jacket anytime soon, as I said before, so don't need to worry about that at all, which is always good news. As I said before, we will be chilly tonight in Tallahassee, the 36 with our shot of the Capitol building there, mostly clear skies. So definitely make sure you break out your winter jacket and make sure you bundle up out there and stay warm because we don't see that temperature too often around here. As for tomorrow, our school day forecast, nice and sunny, not much cloud cover, 71, so maybe a touch warmer than average, but still very comfortable. So not summer-like as most of the rest of the country will be seeing. As for your dog weather forecast, there's Aaron's dog again. We'll see a little bit chillier at 9 a.m. at 49 degrees. By the time we get to noon, it'll be much more comfortable at 66 and 70 by the time we reach 3 p.m. there. As for the week ahead, really dry conditions, really dry for really the foreseeable future. No rainfall on this 7-day forecast here, and those temperatures will begin to warm as we go throughout the week, hitting 77 by the time we get to Saturday there. And now I'm going to head over to the desk, and we're going to do a quick tropics recap of our Atlantic hurricane season, and I'll be joining Aaron there right now. Here we go.
I mean, much of the season was very quiet, especially for the latter half. After September, it's almost like a switch just came on and turned it all off. What would you say?
That's right. It was really quiet after we got through basically August and September. October had a lot of wind shear in the Atlantic, so that really kept things quiet.
Indeed, and of course, with that, really, I think it was kind of like a cooler start to the season. I think earlier start to the season for our winter. I mean, it showed a lot of those drier conditions. But if we look at our Atlantic satellite, you can see right now not much convection across the main development region, which is the region north of South America and off to the east or west, I should say, of Central Africa.
That's right. The only thing we see there is that mid-latitude cyclone spinning away with that cold front that went through just recently. And our sea surface temperatures above 80 degrees, that really has receded, especially across much of the Gulf of Mexico. We can see there really receding down towards the Yucatan Peninsula and Cuba. So really starting to get cooler sea surface temperatures, which is an inhibitor for tropical development.
That's right. And I mean, it's about how these cyclones can actually pick up the energy and actually use it for development. And of course, as we get towards the end of the season, you can see we actually use every single name on the list, all the way from Anna to Wanda. We haven't, thankfully, we haven't used. We have to use the auxiliary name list.
Exactly.
I mean, maybe next year we have to watch out. But certainly, at least for this year, very active until September, until that switch.
That's right. And we'll look at the tracks here on our 2021 Atlantic hurricane season. That's really a cluttered map there. Like Aaron said, we went through all 21 names on that list. We didn't get the auxiliary list, but we did have a lot of named storms this year, particularly the most memorable being, of course, Ida. That was the most major out of all of those. But we also had some other good ones in Henri and also Elsa. Both of those were impacted the U.S.
That's right. I mean, Ida impacted a lot of people across Louisiana, and they're still recovering. They probably will take a while to recover. Unfortunately, really, it's just the power of Mother Nature and how these storms can really just come almost out of nowhere, which, thankfully we have meteorologists to help with that and forecast that for y'all.
That's right. And we'll have to go forward in time here, and those hurricane seasons could get more active. But now we're going to go back towards the big picture.
And as we take a look at our 60-second forecast real quick and we recap much of the forecast across the nation, you can see our atmospheric river, in the Pacific Northwest, bringing a lot of the rain into places like Seattle and Vancouver. They will get us soaking for the next few days. You can see the rainfall forecast. Almost in isolated pockets, it could be upwards of almost 10 inches of rain, and especially those mountains facing the Pacific Northwest and the water over there. Our next 60 hours, you can actually see that cold front making its way all the way to the East Coast. That snow pivoting around to places like New England. May see some snow across the area. In tomorrow's forecast, you can see 70s really across much of northern and central Florida. It's not until you get towards South Florida where we'll actually see a few 80s and very toasty conditions in that area.
That's right. Those 80s are not out of reach for southern Florida as we go forward in time here for tomorrow. So definitely enjoy those summer temperatures while they last, because they won't be around here for much longer. But again, a live look at Dole Campbell Stadium. It's still sitting at 57 degrees, calm winds out there. You can see behind me, colors are starting to fade behind the stadium as that sun continues to set below the horizon here. Currently around the area, 54 Tallahassee, 50 at Monticello. Cooler as we go into northern Georgia, sitting in the mid to upper 40s, so a lot chillier there. So make sure you have your winter jackets out tonight. Not much on the radar, as we said before, maybe a little glide cutter around Cross City, but not much in the way of rainfall to worry about, so that's always good news. As for the future radar, again, some more clouds may stream into tonight and into the day tomorrow, but most of that stays up in southern Georgia. So Tallahassee will remain mostly clear for the foreseeable future into tomorrow by this time. As for tonight, chilly again, widespread 30s around the entire area. Maybe a little bit warmer down the coast, mid-40s with that marine influence coming off the water there. As for tomorrow, generally staying in the low 70s, maybe a little cooler, again with that marine influence, upper 60s down the coast there. And as for the week ahead, really dry conditions, not much rainfall expected at all. You can see we'll start to warm up by the time we get to the weekend, upper 70s by the time we get to Saturday. So maybe those summer-like temperatures will make one last chance to be felt around the Tallahassee area. So that could feel quite nice as we go forward in time.
That's right. And of course, for those people who like warmer weather in our area, you do have a shot for that warmer weather as we get into, as Evan was saying, into the middle part and latter part of this upcoming week. But of course, if you're a winter weather person, then of course tonight is the last night for that.
That's right. And we actually are having a lot of snow deficits around the country. I saw a stat today, only 11% of the lower 48 United States has snowfall right now. So I think it was the fourth lowest since 2003. So we do need some more snowfall around in the U.S.
Well, I mean, a lot of that can also be contributed to La Nina as well across the Pacific Ocean, which I don't know if you know, but normally tends to dry conditions out, especially across much of the southern U.S. So really much of the weather, snow staying up there.
That's right. Make sure you guys follow us on Twitter at twitter.com/FSU Weather.
And like us on Facebook at facebook.com/FSU Weather.
That's right. And if you're not already watching us live on YouTube, you can do that at our YouTube page at youtube.com/FSU Weather.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram at FSU Weather.
That's right. We always appreciate you guys sending us those weather pictures. You guys can send us in dog pictures to be featured on our dog walk forecast. So make sure you guys do that as well.
And yeah, I mean, if of course you need to email us on that or message us for that. But from tonight's edition of FSU Weather, I'm student meteorologist Aaron Saray.
And I'm Evan O'Regan.
And have a great night.